Hey, this is Tristan at Mahalo, and we are here at Hip Cooks in West Los Angeles, and today we're going to make some spiced nuts, which are awesome for the holidays. So let's get started. I have chosen walnuts, cashews, and almonds for our mixed nuts. You can choose whatever nuts you want, and rosemary for the seasoning. So, a little bit of butter, yum yum, melt that away. Depending on how much butter you like, go ahead and put in whatever you like. 2 tablespoons is good here. So get that melted, and then we'll throw in some brown sugar. Remember, we don't measure, so take what you like with your hand and throw it in as soon as that butter is melted. While we're waiting for that butter to melt, let's talk about the rosemary. Fresh rosemary, if you have that in your garden, is awesome. If you don't have rosemary, you can use oregano, you could use thyme. You don't even need to have fresh herbs at all, but they do add for a nice flavor. So just strip them off the stem and give them a good, quick chop. So spice nuts are great, as I said, for gifts for the holiday. You can package them up in little cellophane bags or put them in cute little tin jars or whatever, and they make for awesome hostess gifts if you're going to any holiday parties, or for stocking stuffers if you celebrate Christmas. So this is it. Just chop it up nice and light. Nice and light, nice and finely. And the butter is melting away. Okay. So we'll be using Tabasco today as well to give it that added heat. Again, at Hip Cooks, we really ask you guys to make dishes how you want them. So if you're not inclined to use Tabasco sauce, that's fine. You can leave that out. Okay. Think in your hands, about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. That's 1, 2, 3. So we're basically caramelizing a little bit of sugar here. And the idea right now is to mix up the butter and the sugar and melt the sugar. So for our nuts, our walnuts, and these are all raw nuts. They'll get a little toasty and more flavorful when they're toasting in the butter and the sugar. So you want to estimate about 2 cups. So, a little bit of that. Some cashews. And I love a lot of almonds, so I'm going to put more almonds in than anything. There we go. Okay. Turning down the heat a little. Just get those started by stirring them with your spoon, but the best way to stir these nuts is the good old pan flip. So, take your pan, do it over a table, because if you lose some nuts, you can just throw them back in. Tilt your pan down, and then push out and come back. Ooh, you lose a few, that's okay. And that way, you'll get that butter and sugar all over those nuts. And just let them sit, and they'll slowly brown, and pick up the nuts that you dropped. Okay. So, let them sit for just a little bit, and that will give them the nice toasty flavor that you're looking for. Rosemary, I have about 3 teaspoons of rosemary here. Sprinkle that in. Maybe I'll leave a little bit out. Okay. So once you have these on your cookie sheet, you'll want to put them in the freezer. That's a great place to store any kind of sugared items, because freezers are dry environments and the sugar won't melt away from the moisture in the air. So until I'm ready to package them or give them away as hostess gifts, keep them in the freezer, first on the Silpat, and then you can transfer them to jars once they're good and cooled off. Okay, those look good. So you can see that the rosemary, the butter, the sugar is all over the nuts. Every nut has some coating of some sort. That's what you want, so every little bite you take is delicious. These are so good. These are addicting. I actually can't keep them in my house because I eat them all. They never make it to my guests. Okay, and a little sprinkle of Tabasco for that tangy, bitey heat. And put this on after put this on after you have taken them out of the heat, because if you leave them, if you put the Tabasco on the pan when it's in the heat, you might get that extra shock from the oil of the peppers. So out of the pan, Tabasco. And just put as much as you like. A few sprinkles. Give them a little stir. Spread out your nuts in the pan so that they cool and that you don't have big gloppy clumps. And then into the freezer. And those are your holiday spice nuts. If there are any other dishes you'd like to see me prepare, please send an email to request@mahalodotcom. And in the meantime, check out our other videos.